All right, a big story breaking this morning about the January 6th investigation. It happens to be really bad news for the Trump family. Eric Trump, as well as Kimberly Guilfoyle's phone records, have been subpoenaed and reportedly obtained by the January 6th committee, again pushing forward into the inner circle around Trump and theoretically eventually to Trump himself. Eric Trump is one of Trump's sons. Kimberly Guilfoyle is the fiancée of Don Jr., and their records now are becoming part of the investigation. CNN reporting, exclusive, Eric Trump and Kimberly Guilfoyle's phone records subpoenaed by the January 6th committee. The House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol has subpoenaed and obtained records of phone numbers associated with one of former Trump's children, Eric Trump, as well as Kimberly Guilfoyle. It appears to be the first time the Select Committee has issued a subpoena that targeted a member of the Trump family in what marks a significant escalation of the investigation into Trump's role in the January 6th insurrection. The decision to subpoena communication records involving the Trump family underscores the aggressive tack the committee is taking as it races to complete its investigation while battling Trump in court over access to documents. The phone records obtained by the committee are part of a new round of call detail records. These records provide the committee with logs that show incoming and outgoing calls, including date, time, and length of calls. The records show a log of text messages, but not necessarily the substance or content. This is fascinating because this is the so-called metadata. And one of the things that we learned from Edward Snowden's exposures are about practices of bulk metadata collection. And one of the things that the right has been very quick to say, some on the right who want to defend government surveillance, not all of them do. The libertarian-minded ones don't. But sometimes they say, listen, this is just metadata after all. It's not actually the substance and the content. It's not recordings of calls or the text of text messages. Well, that's what's here. That's what we're talking about here. And they are flipping out because they have done this with regard to Eric Trump and Kimberly Guilfoyle. Both Eric Trump and Guilfoyle played prominent roles in Trump's Stop the Steal efforts, including Guilfoyle fundraising off of the lie that the election was stolen. They both spoke on the January 6th rally that led to the attack on the Capitol. The records may help the committee flesh out text messages and phone records from others like Mark Meadows, fundraisers, and rally organizers. CNN reported last month that the committee already subpoenaed phone records of more than 100 different people. The newly obtained records include the cell phone number used by Eric Trump. The cell phone number for Guilfoyle was confirmed by sources familiar with her number and texts. The committee previously identified the number as Guilfoyle, so they already knew that. There is no indication the committee has directly subpoenaed either Eric Trump or Guilfoyle for interviews or documents, nor is there any evidence that the committee subpoenaed records related to Trump's other kids, Ivanka, Don Jr., or son-in-law Jared Kushner. Now, Ivanka and Jr. and Jared, they can't really be far behind, is my instinct on this. And Trump's relationship, the same way that Trump doesn't seem to understand like how to relate to dogs, to pets. It's just this weird kind of thing. There's a similar thing with Trump's kids that we've noticed. I'm not even sure that Trump would be that upset if his kids went to prison to save his ass. I think he would be sort of embarrassed because of how it would look, but it doesn't really seem he would care that much. And as far as the timing of the investigation, understand, as I said earlier in thinking about 2022, this committee ends if Democrats lose the House in November, made effective in January when the new House gets sworn in. So at the current pace, the idea would be they are done before the midterms. When we talk about an October surprise, it's completely plausible that the investigation will be done before the midterms and that there would be some major report with takeaways and it would be an October surprise. I just have a hard time imagining that it would affect the elections. I don't think whatever comes out of this is going to change anybody's minds, because if the committee determines Trump was responsible and here's all the people that co-conspired, that's already what we intuitively believe. based on everything we know so far and everything that's public. And the Republicans don't care. They would reelect him like that. Most of them would anyway. So on the one hand, the timing of the election makes it important for this to be completed in time. At the same time, it's hard to imagine anything that comes out of this that actually affects the midterms. If you disagree with me, if you think there's something that could actually affect the midterms and change people's minds who would otherwise vote for these Trumpian Republicans, let me know. And the sort of last piece of this is, imagine that the January 6th committee finds evidence of criminality and turns it over to the Department of Justice. It would take months at minimum after the release of the report for the DOJ to investigate and then to charge anybody. So the timing of that also would not end up affecting the 2022 midterms. So on the one hand, this is incredibly important work that must be done, and I want it to be completed at a reasonable amount of time. On the other hand, it's more for the historical record, quite frankly, and maybe for its use in 2024 if Trump does run again, than it is for affecting the 2022 midterms. If you disagree and if you believe there is a way that this report would actually influence the midterms, let me know. You can email info@davidpakman.com. One of our sponsors is Real Paper. Our forests on Earth remove about a quarter of the carbon that humans put into the atmosphere. And yet every day we're cutting down tens of thousands of trees to make single-use paper products. Real Paper is fighting back. Real Paper makes paper products that are truly sustainable. Their paper towels and toilet paper are 100% plastic-free, made without any virgin tree fibers, meaning no new trees are cut down. But Real Paper is super soft and durable. You don't have to sacrifice quality to help the planet. These are great products from a usability standpoint. I'm using Real Paper at home. You can do a one-time purchase. They also have easy subscriptions. All orders ship in 100% recyclable, plastic-free packaging. Everybody needs paper towels and toilet paper. Buy ones that you will feel good about. And they're giving my audience 30% off a subscription when you go to realpaper.com/Pakman and use the code Pakman. The link is down below.